Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is the Samsung Note 20 Ultra 5G. This is the latest Note from Samsung, so we'll take a look at this, we'll unbox it, take a look at some of its specs and other things, as well as some of the accessories that go along with it. Now, I was able to get these accessories free. They gave a credit when you pre-ordered it, so I've got the Galaxy Buds Live, as well as the S-View flip cover. We'll take a closer look at those later in the video. Now, this Samsung Note 20 Ultra 5G, it's sort of a handful of a word, comes in at $1,299 with 128 gigabytes of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM. There's a 512 gigabyte variant as well that's $1,449 and also has 12 gigs of RAM. So let's go ahead and open it up. So let's see what we've got inside. So inside there are 3 different variants you can get as far as color. This one is the Mystic White color. So there's Mystic Bronze, Mystic Black, and Mystic White. And I kind of liked the white color. I don't know if it's a matte or a glossy finish. It looks glossy, but let's take a closer look at what's in the box and then we'll go over the phone. So inside the box, there's a little pamphlet in the top. Let's see what we've got here. So we have a SIM card removal tool and no case or anything like that. Of course, in the United States, we rarely get cases inside the box. So we've got a quick reference guide. It says get the most out of your phone, and then terms and conditions. So we'll set that aside and take a closer look at what else comes in the box. So under the phone in the box, we've got this little pamphlet that pulls back. We have a 25-watt quick charger or fast charger. They've slowed the speed down, but it's 25 watts and should charge it in about an hour. We'll talk more about that in a moment. And then also inside we have, well, nothing here. Normally you would have an adapter or some tools. So it looks like they've left out some extra tips for the pen like they give every year. And then inside here, no headphones or anything. And we just have a USB cable. So I thought the package felt fairly light, but we have a USB-C to USB-C cable. So that's for charging and transferring data, I suppose, and they've no longer included the adapter and left out some of the accessories. So we'll set this box aside. Now let's take a look at the phone itself. We'll remove the cover on the back. And it looks pretty good. I was hoping this was more of a matte finish, but overall it looks pretty good. It has a stainless steel frame as well as Corning's brand new Gorilla Glass Victus. So it's no longer Gorilla Glass 5 or 6, it's Victus. And you'll see they installed this, well, I guess it's a cover so you can set it up. There should be a pre-installed screen protector, or some people are seeing that, but let's pull this cover off as well. You can see there's a hole for the fingerprint sensor. And so we've got that. I don't feel a screen protector on here. I know some were seeing it. Maybe there's one there, but I don't think there's a screen protector pre-installed like others are seeing. So maybe the Exynos variant has that, but this one doesn't. So again, stainless steel, Gorilla Glass Victus, and then this is 208 grams. So it's not super heavy, but it's not super light as well. And let's go around the outside edge. So on the right-hand side of the phone, you can see we have a volume rocker, and then below that we have a power sleep wake button. Then on the bottom of the phone, we have a microphone. It looks like we've got a little protective piece of plastic over here. I can look at that a little bit later. But we have USB-C, a speaker, and then we have the S Pen as well. So the S Pen matches the color of the phone. It's a white S Pen if you've got the Mystic White color. And then on the other side, there's nothing on the left side of the phone. And on the top, we have a SIM card tray and our microphone. So let's pop out the SIM card tray. And it should be good for 2 SIM cards in some countries or expandable storage. So this is a 128 gigabyte variant, but you've got a SIM card tray with expandable storage up to 1 terabyte of storage. So that's really nice that they've added that. So there's no headphone jack or anything like that. Before we go over the specs, here's a quick size comparison. So here's an S10 Plus. So you can see side by side. This Note 20 Ultra is very big and has a huge camera bump on the back, but I think it looks pretty good. You can see the camera bump here. This gives you an idea side by side, size-wise. And then width, it's definitely wider than an S10 Plus, or it's closer in size probably to an S20 Ultra. And then also, here's a Pixel 4 XL next to it, if you've had one of those phones or seen that. And then maybe if you're thinking of switching from an iPhone to, say, the Note 20, just for another size comparison, you can see side by side. So this Note 20 Ultra is huge, and it's It's an incredibly large phone, but it doesn't feel heavier than the iPhone or anything. So it's pretty nice in the hand so far, except these sharp edges. Now let's go over some of the specs and then we'll turn it on and take a closer look at it. Now internally, we have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus with 12 gigabytes of RAM, like I mentioned before. We've also got an Adreno 650 GPU. Now as far as connectivity, it's got 5G, millimeter wave, sub-6 as well, so it should have you covered if you have access to those networks. Where I live, it's very limited when it comes to millimeter wave, but we do have sub-6. Now also, it's got Wi-Fi 802.11ab/GN/AC/AX, which is Wi-Fi 6, and then it has Wi-Fi Direct, and of course you could use it as a hotspot or whatever you'd like. It's got Bluetooth 5.0, A2DP for audio and aptX, and all sorts of other things like GPS, NFC, and everything you could really want in a phone. Now, when it comes to the display, that's where Samsung really shines, usually with the Note lineup and the S20. So it's got a 6.9-inch display, 1,440 by 3,088 pixels, with a 19:9 ratio and 498 pixels per inch. It supports HDR10 Plus and has a 120 Hz display and can go up to an incredibly super bright 1,500 nits of peak brightness. Now, when it comes to the camera, on the front, we have a 10 megapixel camera. So no longer do we have a 40 megapixel like the S20 Ultra, and this is capable of 4K 60p video as well. Now on the back of the phone, we have our camera bump, which I actually think looks pretty good compared to most others. They've really owned this look, and I like the rings around the camera. But as far as what we have with specs, at the top we have a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera with an f2.2 aperture and 13 millimeter ultra-wide lens. And then in the middle, we have the main 108 megapixel wide-angle camera. That's got an f1.8 aperture with a 26 millimeter equivalent lens. And then we also have a 12 megapixel 120 millimeter periscope telephoto zoom lens with an f3.0 aperture. So we've got all of these cameras, and they've done away with the focus system they had on the S20 Ultra in favor of a laser system that apparently works much better. So I'm curious to see what it has. Now, along with that, it can record 8K video in 24 frames per second. And then also you can take 33 megapixel stills from that. It has super low light photos now and can record super slow motion in 720p at 960 frames per second. So it should be really interesting to see what we've got as far as the camera capabilities on this. Now the phone is IP68 certified for 1.5 meters up to 30 minutes. And then as far as its battery is concerned, it has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery with, like I mentioned before, 25 watt fast charging and 15 watt wireless charging, and it will give you 100% charge in about an hour. Now let's go ahead and turn it on. So I'll hold the power button here, turn it on, and I've really been looking forward to this phone. I think I want to try it out as a main phone for a little while. I've used iPhone for a long time, and I probably will for a while as well, but I really want to try this phone out and see how it is. It's got so many features, it looks great. So let's wait for it to boot up here. So it's booted up, it says let's go. Hit the button. We have to agree to the terms of service. Now, one thing I noticed, it's not speaking to me by default, which is kind of interesting. And you can send diagnostic data or information linking. We'll uncheck those for now. Hit next. I'll select a Wi-Fi network. Now, one thing I noticed is not only do we have a couple options here, under advanced, it actually has MAC address type, and it has a randomized MAC address, so it's harder to track. So I really appreciate features like that. We'll hit connect. It's checking for updates. We'll wait for that. Now it's asking me if I want to copy apps and data, and I actually do. I want to copy from the Pixel 4 XL since it has all of the information on it that I normally use with Android phones. So we'll go ahead and hit next. It says updating smart switch, so I have to wait for that. And it's saying, what's your old device? We'll hit agree. And how do you want to connect your device? We'll connect it with a cable, and we'll plug in the cable that was included with it. So we'll unlock the Pixel, plug it in, and then we'll plug it into the Samsung phone. It says connecting to Android to bring your data. Now that it's connected and transferring data, let's see what we've got next. So it wants me to select what I want to bring over. I don't want to bring images or anything else. We'll hit transfer, and everything from the last year or so, we'll hit transfer. Bring your Google account, verify it's me, hit confirm, and it's copying my account as well. Now the phone is still transferring my data, so I'll keep the cable connected, but I'm past the Google sign-in and everything, so let me go ahead and set up my fingerprint. So we'll go ahead and hit continue. It uses Samsung Knox. I'll set a PIN. Now it wants me to scan my fingerprint. So I'll go ahead and hit the button, and it's gotten much better with the S20 Ultra, and the Note 10 even was better than the S10. I had a lot of issues with the fingerprint sensor on previous versions, but so far with the newer versions, it seems to be fine. This ultrasonic fingerprint sensor is super convenient and secure now, so I'm glad they've updated it and made it a lot better. Now that it has my fingerprint, I'll sign in with my Samsung account. So now I'm signed in with the Samsung account. It's almost done. We'll hit finish. And now we're to the home screen. So it looks like it's still transferring information. It's going to update everything. So I'll let this finish and then we'll take a closer look at it. So now everything's done copying. I'll set the phone aside and take a closer look at the Note. Now it looks pretty good so far. The screen looks incredible. The phone is quite warm just from setting up, but that's pretty normal when you're doing a lot of intensive tasks. And let's take a look at the actual Android version that it has pre-installed. Now it is still installing some updates and things like that as well. Now as you can see here at the top, it has Android 10 and One UI version 2.5. I'm going to check for an update as well since we're only on the July 1st, 2020 patch, and the August patch is out for at least Pixel devices anyway. So it does have an update. I'll install this and then continue in a moment. The Note 20 Ultra is now installing an update, and it looks like they've updated what the update looks like. Before it was just this terrible blue screen, so this looks a lot better. I haven't seen this on the S20 yet, so maybe it's new, maybe it's not, but it's the first time I'm seeing it. Now the phone has rebooted, the update has installed, and Samsung is promising 3 years of updates with Android. So that's something we haven't seen from Samsung before. Only Pixel phones from Google, so it's really nice that we have that with a super expensive phone. Let's test out the fingerprint sensor. And it's pretty fast. So as long as you get the right spot, that takes a little bit of time to learn that as muscle memory. So it's kind of right in this area. It's not really anything you can see, but you have to try it a few times. Now, software on this phone is already pre-installed. There's quite a bit. Now I had it install some software also, but you'll see we have the typical Samsung software installed. We've got the Google software installed as well, and then also Facebook. But one thing I noticed as opposed to previous versions is we can uninstall Facebook. So if you want to uninstall it, you can do that. So that's nice. Before they just let you hide it. Now you can uninstall it. Now, as far as the display, it's really nice. It does wrap around the edges. I'm not sure I like that too much. You may have some spurious inputs there, but this display is 120 hertz. So it's super fast at all times, but you can only use 120 hertz or it's full resolution. So for example, if we go to display, so you'll see here's the options here. I can go standard and then go higher resolutions, or have adaptive for 120 hertz, so it's smooth and then slows down. So if we scroll down, you'll see here's the resolutions. But if I want to switch to WQHD plus 3088 by 1440, I have to turn off motion smoothing. So you'll see high refresh rate isn't supported in WQHD plus. So that's something you have to keep in mind. I'd rather have the higher frame rate or the higher screen refresh rate rather, and kind of have the nice smooth experience on Android. Now this year, the S Pen gets updated to have a 9 millisecond refresh rate. And so we'll create a new note, maybe just write Zollotech here. There we go. Let's convert that to text. You'll see it didn't get it exactly right. So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. We'll try it again down here. And we'll hit convert again. And you'll see it didn't get the first one right, but it got the second one right. So it should be pretty good in general at converting that. Now, again, you can straighten this. That's one of the new features here this year. You can straighten it, see what you'd like here. Maybe we'll move this down here, convert, and then it converted it to text. So it has some really nice options. Of course, you have those gestures and things. So for example, if you go into your camera, you'll have gestures. And so if you want to switch between modes, press and hold the button on the pen and then move. And we'll see if we can go to video. And then we'll just move our pen. And this worked last year okay. We'll see if it works again. There we go. We'll move it back. It's the first time we've opened it, so we'll move it back. So you get the idea. You can use that to take photos and everything else, which is really nice. Now, other than the gestures within the camera, we have a bunch of different options. So if we go into our settings here, you'll see we have scene optimizer and all of those, and then rear video size up to 8K, like I said before. And let's take a look at the forward-facing camera since it's 4K as well. And let's change it because it goes up to 4K 60. So I'm showing you this video at 4K 60, so let's bump it up to that. We'll go back and let's see what the video sounds like. So now I'm recording it with the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G, and hopefully it looks pretty good and sounds pretty good as compared to my studio mic. Now, you also get the option to change audio from the front to the back. So you can adjust where the microphones are that it's using. You can plug into the USB-C port with a microphone. You can use Bluetooth and everything else. So it's got a really comprehensive camera, and if you'd like a separate video on that, let me know in the comments below. The S20 Ultra camera was great, but if you want a more in-depth look at the camera on the Note 20 Ultra, let me know in the comments below. Now, as far as the speakers are concerned, let's take a listen to those. So we'll go to my S20 Ultra unboxing, and we'll turn it up. Specs of the front-facing camera, it's a 40 megapixel camera that should be really impressive. So the screen looks great. I only have up to, I think, 1080p. So we'll go into here. For some reason, we only have up to 1080p 60 there, but it looks okay. The speakers don't sound incredible at high volume. So listen again. Now, when it comes to the cameras on the rear, we have a 108 megapixel optical image stabilized camera. So they're loud, but they don't really sound that good. They sound kind of like a lower quality speaker. It's okay, and it's nice and in stereo, but it's not as high quality as I would have expected for the price, but it's not bad. So this offers quite a lot, and there's a lot to get into. If you want to talk about more, of course, I can do a different video, but let's take a look at some of the accessories. So these are the Galaxy Beans or Galaxy Buds Live. Let's go ahead and open it up here. There we go. Close that. It's super sharp, so I want to be careful. So let's open this up here. So that's a little bit smaller than I would have thought. Let's unwrap this here and open it up. And so you've got the Galaxy Buds Live here, so they should fit in your ear nicely. I'll try them out separately, but let's set them here. And then let's see what we've got in the box. So inside, we've got a USB-A to USB-C cable, and then it looks like we have a couple different tip sizes in here as well. So they just sort of fell out, but it looks like these will go around the end of the bean, I guess, so right here. So it's kind of interesting. And then it should wireless charge off of your phone as well. So you do have that wireless or reverse wireless charging option. So wireless power share. We'll turn it on. It says ready to charge. We'll turn it over. And I felt it vibrate, and you can see it's charging now. So it's charging off the back of the phone if you need that, or you could charge other devices as well. Now around the case, we have USB-C on the back to charge it also, and then left and right. So let me put one of these in my ear. Now, they feel pretty comfortable, but they're open to the air. So I'll try them out a little bit later. It's kind of interesting though. Let's take a look at the case. Now this case is about $50 or so, and like I said, it came with it just with a little certificate when you pre-order, so it seems like it's a decent case if you want to have the note sort of be like a notepad. So it's got a large instruction booklet here. We'll take this out, and then let's see what it's like when we put it in the case. Let's see if we close the case. It immediately turns on the side, gives the time and the date, and a couple different icons here. It says open cover to view notification details. Around the back, it makes the camera bump flat, so that's nice, but I'm not sure I like this material. It's sort of like a nylon material that's cushy. It will protect the phone, but on the top it does leave it exposed a little bit, but there's a lip. And then on the bottom, the same thing. And then on this side, you have rubber buttons covering the power and volume button. So I do think it's neat how it turns on like that. You can wrap it around the back, and then as soon as you cover the display with this screen, keeping it safe, it changes to notifications. So I really like that. I think it's great. It's kind of something interesting and kind of a neat sort of case. So that's everything with the Note 20 Ultra 5G. If there's anything more you'd like to see, let me know in the comments below. I think it's a great phone, and of course I need to take more samples with the camera, use it for a little while and see what it's like, see what kind of battery life we're getting. But if you want a full review, let me know in the comments below. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, it's a stock Samsung wallpaper. I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.